Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and frenemies, welcome back to the South by East podcast where we talk about the culture, the scripture, and everything in between. And this is pretty deep in between. John shot me this clip recently, and I am so excited to share it with y'all and break this down. John.
Oh man! So here's a clip, and I hadn't even saw the original interview. I had not heard about it, and then one of my favorite comedians, Kev on Stage, shared this clip of Martha Stewart, and her advice to women who are in a relationship where their husband cheats, and she's like, "Man, this dude is just no good." But let's listen to what Martha Stewart said. I don't want to steal the thunder from Martha.
Women, listen to my advice. If you're married and you think you're happily married and your husband starts to cheat on you, he's a piece of shit. And look at him as a piece of shit and get out of it. Get out of that marriage. But I couldn't do that. Couldn't walk away.
Didn't you have an affair early on in the relationship or when you were a stockbroker?
Yeah, but I don't think Andy ever knew about that.
He did say he knew about it.
He did?
Yes, you would confess to him.
Oh.
He says he didn't stray from the marriage until you told him you had already strayed.
Oh, that's not true. I don't think.
But what happened? You had an affair?
I had a very brief affair with a very attractive Irish man. And it was just nothing. It was nothing. In terms of, I would never have broken up a marriage for it. It was nothing. It was nothing.
Bro, she said he was a very attractive Irish man. Like, that matters. So part of what makes this so funny, and it's so funny that Kev on Stage, a great comedian, didn't say anything. He just played the clip. He just posted the clip, is because we all can recognize the irony when someone says, this is what you should do, and this is the type of person you should be looking out for. And then you realize that they are that type of person. They have done that exact same thing, and then they try to justify it by saying, oh, but it's different when it was me. John,
Bro, when I saw that, I was so dumbfounded. The reporter know he was wrong.
Wrong.
He's wrong. Bro, okay. Do you play spades?
I don't.
Oh man, so it's gonna be hard. But it's one of those, when you playing spades, right? The big joker is kind of the end all be all in this joker, right?
Okay.
But normally in a suit of cards, whether it's spades or hearts or diamonds, clubs or whatever else, the ace is the highest. So if you play your ace, right? If you got an ace in your hand, you pretty much know this joker is gonna walk. This is gonna be a book for you, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the most satisfying things in spades is like when somebody plays an ace and you don't have any of that suit of cards, and you got like a spade, and you just be like, oh, I'm gonna play this right on top of it. Thank you for that. And you see their face kind of go. It's just a satisfying thing. And it's like he knew, he was holding this information that he knew that she had this affair first, right? And so when she released this in the air of like, oh, he's trash, he's nothing, she used some other colorful language, he was like, yeah, so I'm just gonna cut that book with that right there. This big joker right here that he says that he did this in response to what you did. And she was like, oh, but mine was nothing though.
Nothing like that.
Hey, I know that we're supposed to make some more Kool-Aid when we get to the bottom of the jug, but it was late last night.
Right, yeah.
And so therefore I didn't make any more because it was late.
I know that I'm supposed to take the trash bag out when the trash gets to the top. But I smushed it down a little bit. It popped back up, but when it popped back up, you had already put some other trash in it. So that was really, no one is at fault. Oh, man. And the thing is...
I know that morals matter for... No. Okay.
No, yeah.
No,
hey,
right.
Listen, and the thing is this. Like, we can look at Martha And the truth is, God could be looking at us sharing this video and go,
Trump card.
yeah, and like lay it right down on top of us. Because all of us have some of that in us where we judge others by their actions and we want to be judged by our intentions.
I just wonder what she would say if he came on and be like, hey, I just want to let you know that other thing, that was nothing too.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. She didn't even remember that she had told him about it. She was like, nah, I don't think he knew about that. Yeah, he did. He said you confessed to it. Yeah, that might have happened. That might have happened. She didn't deny it. She was like, yeah, actually, I don't really remember. And but it didn't happen before. It did. It did happen before. Like she didn't even, it didn't even register to her that she had done any wrong. And man, sometimes though, in our relationships, we can be in a place. I know. Let me speak for self about self. I know I've been at a place where I have come to someone I'm in a deep relationship with, and I'd be like, man, you hurt me, and I tried to be gracious, and I tried to walk through, and here's where we're at now, and it is your fault. And they're like, man, that's crazy. I'm sorry. You know, I felt the same way when you did all of this. I'm like, it was nothing. I didn't mean it though. I didn't mean it though.
Man.
We gotta
Man,
watch.
that was not my heart. You knew my heart.
Yeah, we gotta steward our hearts.
Oh man.
No
I
Martha,
just
though.
Here's the other piece of that too. I think we've discussed this on another episode of where look, I used to watch Martha Stewart's cooking show back in the day. Okay? There's other tips and things I've gotten from her around decorating stuff around the house. We have this thing where when somebody's really good in one area, there's a piece of us that want to make them an expert in every area. And no, just because of where we're at and timing and season, I'm not going to bring. There's just some people that I think, man, are really good in what they do in their certain sectors.
People who are gifted.
And I'm just
with their
like,
hands.
that doesn't make you an expert in their area, and we're making a mistake by putting you in a place to lean into these areas.
Yeah.
We really need you to stay in your lane for the good of us and what you do.
And that goes to, like, we live in a society right now, at least in American culture, where we don't value experts. We don't value people who have taken the time to think deeply about things and research things and become an expert in their area. And we're really in a place where we'll put people who are known. And that could be celebrities, celebrities from Hollywood. That could be celebrity influencers. That could be, as long as they're known and they have a platform, we can put them in positions as experts. And we really have to guard ourselves against that and hold people accountable for what they're saying and think deeply about the things that we are ingesting, regardless of where they're coming from.
I'm almost finished with a book. As we record this, I'm almost finished with a book called The Anxious Generation. And he talks about when the really the influencer start coming an actual career path. And just people who were famous for nothing.
Yeah.
And we, like you said, and so we start taking people's advice just because they got a large platform on stuff. And I think that's dangerous, man. And with people who are not actually demonstrating things that we want to replicate in our lives,
Right.
and we're saying, like, I'm going to go to you for advice on this. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, and the flip side is this, because we all have some manner of influence. You have to mind yourself and your platform and recognize your wake. So recognize that your wake is when a boat's in the water, like a speedboat, sailboat, when it's going in the water, the waves that come out behind that. That's your wake. You have to recognize what your wake is. As a father, I carry a certain amount of weight with my kids, anything that I say. So if I'm flippant with what I say, I could be influencing them a lot more than they know, or anything negative that I say has more impact on them than, and maybe not. So I have to be careful about how I speak. And the same thing is with my generous and encouraging words. I have to steward that platform. And we all have a certain amount of influence with our friends, with our employees, with our coworkers, with people in our groups, our affinity groups, and our families. And it's important that we recognize, all right, do I really know what I'm talking about? And can I say this ignorant thing out here and it be all right? Or might I lead some people astray? And do I need to manage my influence right now?
And here's the deal, right? You can't be informed on everything, so you need some spaces where you can be ignorant and ask the questions and get that and learn, right?
Yeah.
And that's the deal is like not every space you want to share every thought.
No.
And saying like, man, I got this idea, but what do you think about and like then you find out like, oh yeah, that I'm glad that's not for consumption. I'm glad I didn't share that because that was I had the wrong ideas around that.
Martha could have benefited from having some spaces that fostered some self-reflection before entering into an interview and making herself look like a butt of a joke.
And it's just kind of one of those deals where and here's the deal. I still would some of the cooking tips and different things I got from Martha, I still stand on.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the deal is we have to be the kind of people that says we don't discredit the entirety of someone because we don't agree with them on one area. And man, there's probably a lot of people that hold to what she said and says, "Oh, this is just fine. Yeah, I understand what she was saying." Okay. That is for you in your lane, right? And that's gonna be another one of those situations where I snooze on that and not interact in the comments of that post because, I can't get down like that.
And there's the last thing that I'll say about this is it is reflective of a culture that we've seen. Some people call it cancel culture, and I think we've kind of moved on from that buzz term. But we are in a place where, because we hold people's influence so highly, we're quick to throw them away when they disappoint us. And we could easily do that with Martha from this clip, but we also hear Martha doing it with her former relationship and saying like, hey, it didn't end the way I liked, so it was all trash, and I should have just acknowledged. And if you see anyone who ever demonstrates anything like that, they're trash human beings. Throw them away and tell the garbage man to come early for a special pickup. Like trash. And when we treat people with grace, we find ourselves less likely to have to eat our words.
Judge not, lest ye be judged. Judge, like you're gonna be judged by the same standard at which you judge. Man, that's a hard one to remember. And I can tell you, if you're a parent, the person you know that will bring it up the quickest are your kids. Man, they'll tell you when you have missed the mark, especially on something that you have set a standard on for your household. They'll bring it to you like, hey, remember this is the way we act? Man, you didn't just act like that. They will will make it apparent to you.
Yep. And that's important for us to remember. So, hey, how do y'all feel though? What are y'all gleaming? What are y'all pulling out? And what are some other topics that you want us to be able to cover here in these traffic reports? I'm loving the way that these are moving. So we'd love to hear some more feedback from y'all and areas that we could cover. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow on your favorite podcast platform, whether it's YouTube or whether you're on Spotify, Apple, whatever it is. Make sure to follow us there, and we'll see you next week in the intersection.